What if Ahsoka was the one who betrayed the clones on Umbara? The gunships roared through the dense, darkened skies of Umbara, their bright spotlights cutting through the thick fog that clung to the twisted, alien landscape. Below them, the world was a hellscape of deep shadows and eerie bioluminescent flora. Inside one of the gunships, Anakin Skywalker stood among his men, his expression grim. Captain Rex, Fives, Jesse, and Hardcase sat opposite him, helmets off, their faces illuminated by the flickering red emergency lights. The 501st Legion was heading into one of the most brutal campaigns of the Clone Wars. Umbara was a world shrouded in endless night, its native warriors cunning and ruthless. As the ship rocked with turbulence, Anakin turned to face Ahsoka, his Padawan. "This campaign won't be like any we've faced before," he said firmly. "The Umbarans are different. They know the terrain, and they will use it against us." Ahsoka nodded, her face serious. "I understand, Master." But Anakin hesitated, sensing something deeper in her eyes. Ahsoka had grown since her first missions, but she was still young. The war was changing all of them, and he had no choice but to leave her behind. A voice crackled over the comms. "General Skywalker, we have new orders from the High Council. You're to return to Coruscant immediately." Anakin clenched his fists, his jaw tightening. He hated leaving his men in the middle of a battle. He looked at Ahsoka once more. "You'll take command of the 501st in my absence." Ahsoka straightened, her shoulders tightening with the weight of responsibility. "I won't let you down." Anakin placed a hand on her shoulder. "I know you won't, Snips." As Anakin stepped onto the departing gunship, he glanced back at his men, at Ahsoka, then disappeared into the swirling darkness of Umbara's endless night. The war had begun. The battle erupted almost instantly. The moment the 501st hit the ground, they were met with relentless fire from Umbaran forces hidden in the shadows. The clones fought hard, advancing meter by meter, but their enemy was unlike anything they had faced before. Ahsoka, now leading in Anakin's place, stood on the battlefield, lightsabers ignited, cutting down enemy combatants with brutal efficiency. But even as she fought, she felt the weight of every decision pressing down on her. Fives, covered in dirt and blood, ran up to her. "We need to fall back. The Umbarans have the high ground and heavy artillery. This is a death trap." Ahsoka turned, her face twisted in frustration. "We don't retreat, Fives. We press forward." Fives gritted his teeth. "This is exactly what happened on Felucia, Commander. We lost an entire squad because we pushed too hard. You're making the same mistake." Ahsoka's expression darkened, a flicker of something dangerous in her eyes. "We're not the same scared troops you were back then. You'll follow my orders, trooper." Five stepped back, his hands clenching into fists. He could see the strain in her face, the pressure crushing down on her. She wasn't thinking clearly, and the clones were paying for it. The days blurred together into endless bloodshed, every mission costing more men. Every push deeper into Umbara's territory felt like a descent into madness. Ahsoka barely slept. She barely ate. She fought and she gave orders, and the clones kept dying. She stood in the command tent, gripping the edge of the holotable as another report came in. Another squad wiped out. Another failure. Rex stood across from her, his voice measured but firm. "Ahsoka, we need to reconsider our approach. We're losing too many men." She turned on him sharply. "Are you questioning my command, Captain?" Rex's jaw tightened. "I'm saying you're not thinking straight." Ahsoka's expression twisted. "You don't get to question me. I am your general." Rex stepped forward. You're not acting like one. She stared at him, her breath coming fast, her hands shaking. As Rex left, a scout ran into the tent. Commander, we've intercepted enemy transmissions. The 212th is fighting nearby. We could link up with them. Ahsoka's lips curled into a slow smile. Then we'll make sure they succeed. She turned to Fives. Prepare the artillery. We're going to bombard the enemy strongholds ahead. Fives hesitated. We don't have confirmation those are enemy positions. Ahsoka's eyes burned. Did I stutter, Fives? Something in her tone sent a chill through him, but he nodded stiffly and carried out the order. Minutes later, the artillery shells rained down. But as Fives led the cleanup crew into the smoking ruins, his heart stopped. The bodies littering the ground weren't Umbarans. They were clones. They were the 212th Legion. Waxer, Boyle, Trapper, all of them. Dead. Because of him. Because of her. A broken sob escaped his throat as he dropped to his knees, his hands trembling as he touched the bloody armour of his fallen brothers, his vision blurred with rage and grief. He ran. The 501st encampment was quiet when Fives stormed inside. His face was pale, his armour covered in dust and blood. He shoved past stunned troopers, his breath ragged as he made his way to Ahsoka's tent. She was standing over the holotable, her expression unreadable. Fives didn't hesitate. He stormed up to her, his hands slamming down on the table. You killed them! Ahsoka looked up at him, her expression airily calm. They were bred for war, Fives. The words sent a shiver down his spine. Rex entered the tent, his face full of suspicion. What's going on here? Fives turned to him, his eyes wild. She had me fire on her own men, Captain. The 212th. We killed them all. Rex's expression darkened. Ahsoka, tell me that's not true. Ahsoka straightened. Fives is a traitor. Arrest him. The words hit Rex like a physical blow. You can't be serious. Ahsoka's hand drifted to her saber. That is an order, trooper. Rex looked at her, then at Fives. The hesitation lasted only a second before he made his choice. No. Ahsoka's expression twisted in fury. You will obey my command, Rex. The room erupted into chaos as troopers stormed in, grabbing Fives and forcing him to the ground. Ahsoka turned to the stunned soldiers. He is to be executed at dawn. Fives struggled. Rex, you have to stop this. Rex said nothing, but inside, something in him snapped. He would stop this. The night was thick with tension. Rex stood in front of the execution squad, his face blank, but inside, he was racing against time. The execution was stopped. Rex had found the evidence, and now they would come for her. Ahsoka was a traitor to the Republic, and the hunt was on. Ahsoka stood alone in the center of the 501st camp, her breath coming in short, ragged gasps. The weight of the war, the losses, the accusations, it all pressed down on her like a crushing weight. She could feel their eyes on her. Her men. No, not her men anymore. The moment Captain Rex had stepped forward and presented the holo recording of her ordering the bombardment, the camp had erupted. She was a traitor. She could see it in their faces. Doubt. Fear. Betrayal. But she wasn't a traitor. She had done what was necessary. They didn't understand the weight of command. They didn't understand the sacrifices. A cold voice cut through the air like a blade. Ahsoka Tano, stand down. She turned, Rex stood at the front of the assembled troopers, his helmet off, blasters drawn. She took a step back. Rex, you don't understand. I was trying to... We have your orders on record. His voice was steel, his eyes dark with something she had never seen before. Disappointment. She swallowed. You're making a mistake. No, Commander. You did. Ahsoka's grip tightened on her hilts. The shadows of the jungle seemed to close in around her. She had to escape, because if she didn't, they wouldn't just imprison her, they'd execute her. The clones around Rex began to step forward cautiously, their blasters raised. Her heart pounded. I'm sorry. Her lightsabers ignited with a hiss, and she attacked. The moment Ahsoka's sabers ignited, the world became chaos. Blaster bolts tore through the night as she twisted and spun, her lightsabers deflecting the flyer in a rapid blur of green. She moved on pure instinct, cutting down floodlights, diving between cover, striking to disarm, not to kill. She wasn't the enemy, but they thought she was. A trooper lunged forward, stun baton raised. She sidestepped and slammed him into the ground with the force. Another took aim at her head. She kicked his rifle upward and sent him sprawling. Then Rex. He moved faster than the others, cutting off her escape. Twin pistols tracking her every step. Don't do this, Ahsoka. Her breath caught in her throat. Rex, He fired. A stun bolt. Non-lethal. She barely dodged in time, the blue energy grazing her shoulder, sending a jolt of numbness down her arm. I don't want to fight you, she cried. It's too late for that, he shot back, expression cold. She felt a lump in her throat. She could hear the others closing in. More clones. More brothers she had fought alongside. She had to go. A burst of the force sent Rex flying backward. He hit the ground hard, but was already scrambling back up. Ahsoka sprinted for the tree line, her feet barely touching the ground as she leapt over crates, dodged past troopers, and disappeared into the black abyss of the Umbaran jungle. The last thing she heard before she vanished was Rex's voice, grim and sharp. Contact General Skywalker. We have a situation. Anakin Skywalker's gunship roared over the dense jungles of Umbara, the searchlights cutting through the darkness. His arms were crossed, his expression unreadable as he listened to Rex's transmission. Ahsoka? A traitor? It didn't seem possible. But as he watched the holo recording play out, the coldness in Ahsoka's voice as she ordered the bombardment, the way she had turned on Rex, the way she had fled instead of facing her actions. His stomach twisted into knots. Ahsoka had always been reckless. She had made mistakes before. But this was something else. The clones beside him were silent as the ship touched down near the 501st encampment. Rex stood waiting for him, saluting sharply as Anakin stepped out. She's still out there, Rex said grimly. Somewhere in the jungle. Anakin took a deep breath. Then we find her. The Umbaran jungle was a maze of shifting shadows, its alien flora twisting in unnatural ways. The darkness pressed down from all sides, making it almost impossible to see. But Anakin didn't need his eyes to find Ahsoka. He reached out through the Force, feeling the flicker of her presence. There. She was close, moving fast. She's heading north, Anakin said, igniting his saber. Stay close. Rex and a squad of troopers followed, their helmets scanning the terrain. Then, movement. A flash of light, a streak of green. Ahsoka. Anakin surged forward, his boots barely making a sound as he sprinted through the underbrush. Ahsoka! She spun, her lightsabers igniting as she skidded to a halt. Her face was streaked with sweat and dirt, her eyes wild, and the moment she saw him, something cracked inside her. Master! Anakin stopped a few feet away, his saber casting long shadows across his face. You need to surrender. Her breath came in sharp, shallow bursts. You don't understand, she whispered. Then make me understand. Her hands trembled around her hilts. They were questioning my orders, doubting me. Her voice broke. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I was just trying to... Anakin took a step closer. Ahsoka, you killed your own men. She flinched like she had been struck. No, they forced my hand. She saw the look in his eyes, the pity, the pain, and she knew she had gone too far. A scream tore from her throat as she lunged. Anakin barely had time to react before her sabers came crashing down. The duel had begun. The jungle exploded with light and fury as their blades clashed, green slamming against Anakin's deep blue. Ahsoka was faster than before, her movements erratic, wild, fueled by a dangerous mix of desperation and madness. Anakin fought to disarm, not to kill, but she fought like someone with nothing to lose. Their blades whirled and sparked, each strike shaking the very ground beneath them. The trees burned where their sabers met, the jungle turning into an inferno. Then, Anakin slipped past her guard. His saber came up, and Ahsoka collapsed, her lightsabers clattering to the dirt. She was crying. I lost control, she whispered. Anakin exhaled, lowering his saber. Rex stepped forward, stun cuffs in hand. And Ahsoka, once a warrior, once a leader, let them arrest her. Her war was over. Drop the scenarios you would like to see in the comments, and I will pick one every week for Fan Friday. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.